If you or someone you love has been exposed to the chemicals from the Palestine, Ohio chemical disaster, you may find the following video of interest. The first question is, which toxins may you have been exposed to? So far, we know that this list includes vinyl chloride, dioxin, ethyl hexyl acrylate, isobutylene, and phosgene, but there may be other chemicals that were on the trains manifest that have not been made public yet. And there are also new chemicals created by the fire and chemicals interacting with other chemicals and the environment. Can you test for exposure? Yes, there are blood and urine tests for both exposure to certain chemicals as well as the body's response to them. But if you live in the area, and that's anything within 500 miles at this point in time, or have any unusual symptoms, or are seeing changes to the wildlife, dead animals, birds falling out of the sky, I think you should simply assume exposure at this point. How do you get rid of these toxins? First, we need to distinguish water from fat-soluble toxins. If a toxin is water-soluble, it does the damage it's going to do, and then it's urinated out, and your body will repair to the best of its ability. If a toxin is fat-soluble, that's when the toxin stays around for quite a bit longer. Fat-soluble toxins will find themselves getting stuck in the fat of the body. That's not just, say, abdominal fat and subcutaneous fat. That's also the membranes, the nerve tissue, and the brain. So what we need to do is turn fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble toxins so you can urinate them out. Many of the toxins that we just listed can be removed with glutathione. Glutathione is something the body naturally produces, but it's unlikely that someone will be able to produce enough in their body to deal with the sheer volume of toxins that they may be exposed to from this disaster. So how do you increase glutathione in the body? Typically it's done by IV. You can't eat it. It's made out of protein, and the body will simply digest it into its base components, some of which will recombine to glutathione, but not with 100% efficiency. So eating is out. IV comes with logistic difficulties. Alternatives would be liposome, inhalation, suppository, or retention enema. You're also going to need some cofactors for the glutathione to do its work, specifically glutathione transferase and the cytochrome P450 family of enzymes. Both of those can be simulated with coffee taken rectally, and no, drinking coffee won't do the job. It has to go directly to the liver to have this effect. What is the protocol you might consider? First, some glutathione in a nebulizer. Now, there's only so much liquid a person can inhale in from a nebulizer before they start kind of choking on it. But certainly this would be useful to consider to support the lungs, which are very fragile. Additionally, you should be completely abstaining from alcohol during this period because it affects and damages the lung surfactant, which will be needed to help rebuild the lungs. To get larger amounts of glutathione into the body, it's going to have to be done either by suppository or rectally. So one thing you can do is you can go and make 1 cup of coffee, warm coffee. You'll also need 2 grams of glutathione powder and a 60 ml catheter tip syringe, which looks like this. And what you'll do is defecate if possible first, then put some lubricant on the catheter tip of the syringe, Vaseline or olive oil. You're going to aspirate into the syringe the mixed coffee and glutathione. It's important that the coffee not be hot because a hot temperature will damage the glutathione. and you're going to mix it into the coffee, you're going to aspirate it to the syringe. You could consider putting that in rectally, and you will have to go a few times to get the whole cup in. Then lay on your back for 30 to 60 minutes. If possible, also take vitamin B5 and some MSM. Now, if you take this and feel worse, then you're detoxifying too fast. Wait a day, go back, and try it at 1/4 the dose. If that's too much, go down even further. You're looking for the largest amount you can take with symptoms you can handle. And then work your way up until you get to the full dose, which you can do 2 to 3 times a day. It's also important to be binding to any toxins that are made water soluble and find their way into the gut. So 1 teaspoon of charcoal and 1 teaspoon of psyllium fiber in 2 glasses of water should be taken at least once a day. If it gets you constipated, then just take less charcoal. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me through my website. God bless.